Oh, hello everyone. The idea of peace is what I want to talk about today and how it relates to being a co-trustee and money in general. The last couple of times that it was agreed by the courts that these ancient legacies that were loaned to the World Bank should be returned, they were loaned for 50 years, and instead of paying them back, they were then extended the loan for 50 years. They had another little world war, so that they could say, right, we need them for another 50 years to build back after that. And so here we are again, with the pushing for the return of those legacies to the heirs, and for what they were indentured, which was for the upliftment of humanity. And there is all this unrest and all-out attack on various different countries. The second thing, we want to obviously refuse that. That's not a solution, just to say, right, we're going to have another world war so that we can hold on to those loans, hold on to those assets, to guarantee to building back after another war, especially when it's just generated for that express purpose. The second thing is the countries that are being attacked. Sometimes it's on the pretext of regime change or dealing with drugs, uh, or um, or whether there's a nuclear program. I don't know if there's any country that is comfortably comfortable in the knowledge that we haven't got a US base and any amount of nuclear floating around in our waters, our national waters around our countries. So basically, the real reason that these things are happening is because the countries that are being attacked won't agree wholeheartedly to programmable money. They won't agree to this massive surveillance grid, where all money is digital, all access to money for ordinary people is digital, and not asset backed, literally totally controlled by the surveillance grid, totally controlled from outside. And what's happened is that there's some countries like the World Bank, like the Central Bank of Iran, that haven't agreed, and they're not on board. And also, all the BRICS countries have also said, no, we're not part of this. We're not agreeing to this system, incoming system. And then also there's oil, and oil from Iran going to China, and oil from Venezuela, and it's just being, the situation is, we don't have to put up with this. We don't want to have to, even if you don't agree with my interpretation. What we know now is that every single one of these people making the decisions are as disturbed and creepy as hell. Millions of references in the Epstein files. They are grotty, violent paedophiles. And in the same way as when I corrected my status, I did a thing called, it was suggested that you sign off the voting register as a statement that you no longer consent to being governed by these incorporated um, um, people. That's a generous word. People who are on an exploitative corporate mission to exploit the people who they're supposed to serve. So I signed off the voting register, and many of us did. But think of it now on a grander scale, with these files that are showing that all governments, military, police, the rich, I mean, to think that Bill Gates is still allowed to fire his pathogens and his smart dust over whole nations worldwide in chemtrails to make us sick and poor, and that we haven't been able to stop it because he's some sort of financial support to our government, and because he said it's some sort of climate action. I mean, we have such a strong case to say, no, step away. You're not allowed to do any more weapons. You're not allowed to sell anything to anybody, drop anything on anybody, bring it right legislation, let alone implement it. You're not allowed to do anything until this has all been analysed, and I mean the Epstein files, and everybody has answered for their part in it. That we literally cannot say, we cannot sit by and let these horrible people, the people you wouldn't even let into your home in a month of Sundays, we mustn't let them be making decisions about whole countries, about individual people. They need to all go home, and not even go home. They need to go to court. They need to go to, and actually the courts aren't really helping, because if you think about the Tala operation in Britain, and I'm sure it was worldwide, that where all the courts agreed to not record evidence of vaccine harms. So this is a huge control network already, but we can still say absolutely not. The banks, the governments, the elite, and there's even a bunch of military who are in charge of something massive. I can't even remember what it is. But they're just acting totally plenipotentiary. They're making their own little decisions about everything. They call themselves the Magnificent Seven or the Magnificent 13 or something. Nothing magnificent about them. Nothing honourable about them. We need, and the Committee of 300, these are made up, the majority are made up of 100% complicit, compromised people that have no morals, no values, and are master only to themselves, and not even able to master themselves, obviously, if they're still messing about with little kids. It's disgusting. And yet it's the same people who are still saying, "Oh, right, we're going to war for your own good." And remember, now we know where all this gold is that was meant for the people. They're after that as well. And when they blew up the oil tanker outside of Venezuela, and all the fishermen and other people in the area, and destroyed everything, did we ever hear about the tidy up mission there? The things they say they care about are 100% fabricated. It's a very dark time, but we have to remember that we don't have to accept that sort of thing as leadership, surely. And so really what I was going to suggest is that we write and we say this, that we know until everybody has answered for themselves, we no longer recognise any of these things as governing bodies or able to make decisions.